What's up, friends? Paul Heslop here with Process Minted. Thank you for checking us out. And you guys, now is the time that we talk about a brand that went from $1 million to 60 million in less than 4 years. And of course, I'm talking about MVMT, like AKA Movement Watches. I personally have some experience with this brand. I was a very, very small sliver of the growth that they had as I purchased a few of these timepieces for myself over the years. But I really wanted to share with you guys how they did this, how they took even the 60 million and actually went pretty quickly after that to over $100 million in revenue. So I'm gonna share with you those key insights on how they pulled this off. And I'm also gonna break down their packaging a bit, their branding, their design. And I wanna share with you, if you were to want to elevate your packaging, your brand identity, how do you do this? And most importantly, this channel being the Masterminds of Packaging, how you can build a box just like this one, not even just like this one, actually better than this one for the same amount of cost. So there were two founders of this brand, and they didn't really have any personal money to invest to get this going. So they actually successfully launched a crowdfunding campaign. And to back up a little bit, they actually tried on Kickstarter, not one, but 2 times, and Kickstarter rejected their project. So after a little bit of work, they went to Indiegogo, and long story short, they went to $300,000 in funding in just 50 days. So they were able to actually find this hole, this missing hole in the market by leveraging a watch that a millennial would actually both wear as a fashion statement and they could afford. So in their Kickstarter campaign, you could get a watch kind of like this for under $75 up to $100. And typically the way you purchase a watch like this is at a brick and mortar retailer. And this is what they're really disrupting. They took something that would normally cost $300, making it that $100 mark, going direct to consumer, really enabled them to charge much less with this really fresh, young, hip look made for millennials. One of the other key things that they executed successfully was their social proof. So I have some friends who are influencers on Instagram, and this was years ago, but I remember when Movement was really starting out, my friend, she had about 20,000 followers on Insta. And I remember this happening. She received a watch from Movement to share, and then she received $500 in gift card to gift her other influencer friends. So Movement did really well in connecting early on, not only these influencers, but they really successfully gained a lot of reviews on their website and promoted those brilliantly. So a huge part of their social media strategy was using influencers. And we hear this all the time, use influencers, market with influencers, but how many actually successfully do it? Movement really did a great job at this. They executed this brilliantly in so many ways. There's these 2 creatives in particular that created this video I'm showing you guys right now that I highly recommend you to check out the full one on Movement's YouTube channel. But these kids made this video for free, showcasing the Movement brand, because they wanted to be associated with a brand. They wanted to have a shot at Movement sharing to their audience, of which they obviously did. And while I continue to show you this video, I'm gonna turn up the volume a little bit here. This video was one of many pieces of content the creators made for them for free. And while I show you guys the rest of this video, I'm gonna show you one of the most successful campaigns that they ran with their influencers. And this was just one of their campaigns. Many people saw these influencer posts, they created content around the brand, and they had thousands of other people who also wanted to be featured on their Instagram feed. So you guys, this kind of thing just catches fire and then eventually just completely ran itself. So let's quickly get into their branding and their packaging. Let's just assume for a second that you guys have an awesome product, like your product is great. What happens to a lot of brands is there's a major drop off it just crash when it comes to your packaging or your unboxing experience. So many brands really fail to capture the full essence of this. So if you look at Apple, for example, like why would a company like Apple invest so much detail, precision into their packaging? Like their product is already awesome, the customer's already made a purchasing decision, but packaging is a full extension of your product, of your brand. What I love what Movement did here is if we look at this box, they did a really great, nice presentation. It's a premium fill, but not overbuilt like a traditional watch box because they're not a traditional watch company. They're disruptors. They're charging 1/3 of the price for a watch and selling it online, cutting out the middleman, cutting out that brick and mortar retailer. So really solid brand presentation of their packaging that many online companies, direct to consumers, lack today, quite frankly. So the things that I do really love about this box is it's essentially, I mean, it's nice and rigid. You can kind of see on camera here, but the outer box, they're using 1000 GSM gray board with what appears to be a black faux leather. This faux leather is what's called in the manufacturing terms is just a polyurethane material. And there's tons of grade, there's all sorts of grades of polyurethane. This I would consider like a medium grade polyurethane. This interior red that we've got here is a turned over edge construction that we see. It's nice because you don't really see any seams on this. And the buoyancy on this is kind of nice. You can see that the edges of this are pretty thick. They're padded, so which you can get some scratches and dings pretty easy, which is a negative, but overall they've done a really good job at hiding the seams on the side. We have a little seam action on the side here, but this box has been in a drawer for years. It's still looking pretty good. With this thicker interior and material, you're not gonna get as sharp edges as I would love to see in high-end packaging. Like if you look at Apple, their iPhone box is razor sharp edges. This is what you're gonna get when you are really paying attention to manufacturing. And by the way, if you haven't seen that video already, I broke down the full cost and breakdown of the Apple iPhone box, so definitely check that out. I like how when you close it, it kind of gives a nod to the logo of their little hourglass M material here, kind of does that same shape. And I like how they've done this pop of red on the interior. They've done the screen printed red on top of this felt and a on the top. The bad thing is it's not really kind of the same red. I mean, it's almost the same, but not quite. It's just a small thing. And the die cut EVA foam gives you a really nice soft presentation of the watch fitting in here nice and snug. And then there's a really thin paper felt material that's just glued on the top. So the box, just like the watches, is pretty economical to make. So if you were to make this box in about 50,000 unit range, it would cost you $1.28 produce roughly. If you upgraded some of the materials, it might be another 10 or 20 cents. Considering the first 4 years, they sold 1.5 million of these boxes and watches. They're probably getting a little bit better pricing than that. All in all, pretty nice box, gives a good presence. Movement has done a good job here. When they produced this stuff, them being a startup, there's a couple things that we felt that we would change. Like when you're a startup, you don't really understand some of these things in packaging design, but to create a leather look like this using polyurethane, you're actually gonna stamp it on or roll it on. Same thing if you're trying to create a concrete look, a wood or a stone texture in packaging, this roller is basically pressed on the material during manufacturing. It's giving this leather look and feel. So you must understand that rollers are not expensive. And this is important to understand because what we would have probably done on this box is do a custom roller. Like they're using a stock roller leather finish on this. And this is important because you see the difference between this box and say like a Gucci box. Gucci has custom rollers. Louis Vuitton has custom rollers. They're gonna like, this is only costing you about $800 to do a custom roller on material. So they could have done like their hourglass sort of logo here, stamped on there, maybe a shape or something like that, a hexagon. This is all just branding and design language, and it separates you from your competition. Like it further deepens your design identity. And you guys, like if we did have a Louis Vuitton box, there's gonna have those signature patterns that across their boxes. So for that same roughly $1.28 all in all in this box, you could do this. This is where a startup company is not gonna really have that experience to really tell a factory what to do here. And guys, this is what this channel is all about, furthering your knowledge in design, packaging, branding. If you're into this kind of stuff, just please subscribe. And we're always on the hunt for the world's best packaging. So for sure, you guys, leave in the comments your favorite packaging and maybe your packaging, and we might consider reviewing it on the channel. And if you're interested in building a box like this or your own high-end custom packaging for your product, we have offices in Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, and China, and we will see you guys on the next one.